Chapter 1. Mental Telepathy. Apeldoorn, a city in Holland. The famous tune of that title was playing on Ingrid's car radio. A sly smile dimpled her cheek as she recalled her mystical encounter of the previous night. The words of the song softened her heart, reinstating her enthusiasm for life that crisp Tuesday morning. Strong, resolute hands, holding the steering wheel, started to drum with the beat. Ingrid's silk blouse beneath her elegant suit portrayed a graceful, sensual woman, mature yet youthful. Her natural curly, short auburn hair flattered her delicate, bone-structured face that a sculptor might have chiseled. Her large eyes of the same golden tone expressed her soft feminine nature. Apeldoorn's business centre hummed with activity. After parking her car, she noticed a big sign in a newly opened bookshop called The Power of Words, advertising "The Body Codes of Light, workshops starting soon." Good grief, how intriguing! The title of the workshop raised Ingrid's spirits. She dashed around the corner through the wide glass doors of Pleasure Park's modern office building. The tall palms in the foyer half hid the unoccupied receptionist's desk. The elevator door's infrared detector responded to her body heat, opening the doors, as her colleague Carla, who looked like she'd just fallen out of bed, called out,
"Hi, stunning suit, trying to dazzle someone?"
Carla was a voluptuous, free-spirited, outspoken woman in her 30s. She was both clever and fun-loving with a good sense of humour. Her eyes teased, and her smile and glint were all at once pale blue, staring out of a soft round face. Ingrid loved her job. She oversaw the maintenance of 12 European holiday resorts, created artistic impressions for their new developments, and handled some PRO work. All this kept her from being bored. The chief attractions of Pleasure Park's resorts were the exotic fantasy gardens, a wide range of bathing and sun-tanning beaches, combined with wave pools, gymnasiums, health clubs, and shops galore. These extensive facilities are housed under a single large glass geodesic dome that maintains a subtropical climate year-round. She had been looking for the right job for some time. These were hectic times, with thousands of refugees relocated to Holland. Some who had received a residence permit in the Netherlands in the previous 2 years would like nothing better than to work for a living, so finding a job would be a miracle. Then, 18 months earlier, this position became available, and her 3 grown-up children encouraged her to apply. After her husband Jan's death, her move to the outskirts of the town of Apeldoorn had been challenging. Leaving the harbour city of Rotterdam, which she had shared with him for 26 years, closed a chapter in her life. They had been high school sweethearts and married when she was pregnant with the twins. Ingrid glanced through the glass partition of her office. Marijke, her assistant, was late. She programmed and invoiced the holiday bookings from the ANWB offices all over Holland into their database. Marijke had lost her little boy Kees in a car accident 4 months previously, and she had great difficulty coming to terms with her loss. Her grief still hung around her like glue. Her grave grey eyes, more vacant than ever, reflected the otherwise tailored suit that needed a wash. Thinking about Kees made Ingrid recall her grievous times after Jan's death, but her mystical encounter the previous night marked a turning point for her. She was about to switch on her computer when she suddenly froze. A message had appeared on her monitor that was not there. "Would you like to take part in the Body Codes Light workshop?" The question was very bright and clear, but she had not yet switched it on. How was that possible? She sat for a moment like a statue. Nobody took any notice of her. Marijke popped her head around the door to apologize for being late. The words were still bold and straightforward, but her monitor was not on. She touched her screen, and then it went blank. She first heard the song on the radio. "Are you awake this morning?" Then she saw the new bookshop, advertising a workshop on experiencing a reality shift. And now this. Were these coincidences? She had attended a creative doodling seminar titled The Language of Light, focusing on awakening her psychic strengths so that her awareness would extend beyond her physical senses, had that truly been happening. The loud melody of her desk phone jolted her back to the reality of the workplace. It was someone from the Tree Fern Landscapers construction firm. Her thoughts were still somersaulting while she stared at her dark screen.
She asked,
"To whom am I speaking?"
Since a man's penetrating voice addressed someone in the background.
Toon Hardens. This firm has changed hands. I see that we do a lot of business with your company.
He replied in a self-assured manner. When he handed her over to Nell, his receptionist, she picked up on his irritation with Nell. Her digital time display said 9:20, so Ingrid felt the man was justified. After giving Nell the information Mr. Hardens wanted, she was about to switch on her HP workstation when her screen lit up again, as it had when a fatal error occurred. But the words... "I asked you a question. Do you want to take part in the body codes of Light Workshop?" She jumped off her chair as the adrenaline surged through her bloodstream. Were the words meant for her? Slowly she sat down again, staring at the large yellow letters on a blue screen. With trembling fingers she typed, "Who are you?" Seeing to her amazement her italic text appearing underneath the question. Someone must be playing a trick on her, surely, or her PC must be on. "Nobody is playing a trick on you. I asked a question. And I am you, a multi-dimensional spiritual being." That remark... With whom was she communicating? Everyone was working on their computers as if things were normal. Well, things were, but what was going on in her mind? Then the text changed. "I am your mind." That stunned her. Who was reading her mind? She typed, "Could you explain to me what you mean by my mind?" Her text showed up, so who was reading it? "Your mind and the collective mind are the same." Oh, sure. Meaning what? Her heart was pounding. You live in an intelligent and benevolent, holographic physical reality. Have you forgotten? What did that mean, holographic? She knew all about her holographic artist's impressions for the new pleasure park. That was her job, but who was this?
Her heart began to pound, beating so hard she felt it would burst from pure astonishment. Then the running blue text appeared again on the black screen.
"Truly, I speak because you are always asking questions and entitled to the truth. Did you not ask to live this life to your full potential? The time is critical." She stared, spellbound, wondering how on earth someone could know her thoughts. "Are you real? Please let me know how you can express yourself on my computer when it is not on." Marijke stuck her head around the office door.
"Ingrid, are you busy? Have you got a minute?"
"I've got myself into a muddle. I'll be with you soon."
She kept her tone soft and calm, but inside she felt electrified with curiosity. Ingrid was good at viewing life objectively, but this... Then more text appeared. "I am the wind, the ocean, and the air. If you need to call me by a name, you may call me POWAH. It was real. Her computer was off. There was no taskbar, no icons, just what looked like a test screen. Was she the only person seeing it? She was not in a trance. She could hear all the noises around her. Nobody had taken any notice of her. Was she experiencing a higher frequency of thought? Lately she had been listening to a constant high-pitched ringing sound with no external source. What was going on? Her bewilderment was once again interrupted by Marijke.
"Sorry, Ingrid, but I have a client on the line. She wants to book her holiday bungalow in Tilburg for July, but she wants to know if there are any buttercups or cup of gold creepers growing at the new complex in Tilburg. She's very insistent. She read somewhere that those flowers are very poisonous, and she's worried about her small children."
She would have to find that out from Nell, whom she had just spoken to and whose firm handled the landscaping.
"Marika, tell the client you will look into it and call her back. That will keep her happy."
Ingrid peered at her now blank computer screen. The text stated that she had asked to live this life to her full potential. Now, who would know her private thoughts? She turned her workstation on, and her familiar taskbar and icons appeared after a moment. She resumed typing on her keypad to whoever it was, while her blood was pulsating in her throat. "Power, where are you from? You say you are me. Do you mean you are speaking into my mind?" This was so silly. What was she doing? Nothing happened. That felt even more unnerving. Was she texting to herself? Was this all happening in her imagination? While staring at the terminal, she recalled the extraordinary experience of the last evening. And then again the text came rolling in. "Do you know what you want, Kitty?" Her amazement increased, thinking about her reply. "Yes, I do, but how did you know my nickname?" Seeing her own text appearing, she waited. "What exactly do you want to know, and why?" After that question, she just sat there, transfixed. Why? She wanted to know the absolute truth about life. She would then understand life better, and why bad things happen to good people. Why are all the tragedies hitting many parts of the world? Her mind raced as a new text jumped suddenly back onto her screen. "Kitty, you have the right intention. That is everything in life. You want to experience things, to know something. From now on we will have a working relationship. You will grow in awareness of the DNA coding system we are working on together. It's time to prepare you and others for your reality shifting process. Love, Power." Her screen now reverted to the regular screensaver. Who was reading her mind? That was how it felt. What could have been meant by a DNA coding system? What was she getting herself into now? Who was communicating with her on her computer? How? From where? Ingrid wondered who Power was. Could the 5 letters be a name? Was it all happening in her mind? Had she become psychic? Her whole body was in turmoil. She struggled to concentrate on work for the rest of the day. Ingrid kept things to herself and almost forgot to phone Nell about the buttercup flower details Marijke had been waiting for. She looked it up on Google and dialed Nell's office before going home.
Tree fern landscaping.
It was the same resonant voice she had spoken to earlier. Where was Nell? She cleared her throat as if... Why was she so nervous?
Hi, I'm Ingrid from Pleasure Parks. May I speak to someone about the type of plants you use in the landscaping of our resorts?
She had never heard of buttercups growing in Brabant's Hedde Fields, where a construction company had built another pleasure park holiday resort.
I spoke to you this morning. What would you like to know? Perhaps I can help.
We have received a query from one of our clients. She asked if buttercups or cup of gold creepers are growing in our new Tilburg complex. They are very poisonous. Do you have any idea?
There was a silence. Did she hear or feel him chuckling?
Ingrid, I doubt whether this firm has used either of these plants in the past, but I will investigate the matter. Shall I come back to you on this?
His masterful tone sounded amused. Ingrid was very receptive to emotional undertones in people's voices and picked up much more than most people with this man. She repressed a stirring feeling of, what? Being naturally curious, she asked.
This cup of gold creeper, what plant is it? I have never heard of it.
I am not surprised, Ingrid. Some species of buttercup flowers grow in the mountains, but the cup of gold creepers are subtropical and very spectacular, with yellow flowers in a cup-like shape. The big subtropical types could have narcotic properties. Your client is probably mixing it up with a large shrub called angel trumpets, which is poisonous.
Mr. Hardens was very informative and charming, but somewhat imposing. They seemed to have an undercurrent mental connection. She thanked him for his enlightening chat about the flowers, asking him to phone back so that she could give the client an answer. Something about his voice was almost familiar. But what was it? Why did he make her feel as if...
That I will, Ingrid,
he replied. She was puzzled by his change of tone, almost playful when she heard music playing in the background. It was the same song she had heard on the radio that morning. Ingrid longed for the summer to arrive, but heavy clouds were building up. Her floor-to-ceiling office windows looked out over Apeldoorn's main shopping street. Many people huddled up in rain gear. She remembered that Big Bergen had a market on a Tuesday. On the way home she would detour there to buy fresh groceries. When she closed her office, an inner joy, a sense of rapture, was still with her, due to the rather baffling dialogue with Poa. She was the last to leave, when stepping out of the lift. Ulla, the receptionist, remarked on her cheerful ambience with a speculative glance, asking her if she had a date as she tidied her desk before going home herself. If only Ulla knew, she did feel different. Wouldn't anyone, after what she had experienced today and last evening?
Ingrid, you missed a creepy caller asking about you. He refused to give his name.
Ulla's frown showed discomfort. She didn't know anyone you would call creepy.
I'm sure he'll phone back if it is important.
Ulla proudly showed off her ring, smiling again. She was going to meet her fiancé's mother for the first time. Ulla's boyfriend was a detective like Marijke's husband. She decided to visit the new bookshop, The Power of Words, to gather more information on the buttercup flower and to inquire about this Body Codes of Light workshop. A young blonde girl with sparkling blue eyes behind the counter excitedly informed her that it was their opening day. The shop had an extensive selection of books, including an esoteric section, and displayed vintage Anton Pieck posters at the door.
I'm Connie. My mom went out momentarily, so I'm standing in for her. What can I do for you?
Connie looked as if she was expecting her.
I would like to look up something in a plant book. And about this workshop you advertised, do you know anything about it?
Connie speculated.
Something to do with genetic decoding of your DNA blueprint through sound. Have you been asked to write the first journal?
What journal are you referring to?
Ingrid's mind leapt in amazement.
Oh, I overheard my Aunt Annalise informing my mom. She said a lady in your description would ask about her workshops while browsing our bookshop today. This lady would write the first awakening journal.
Who's Annalise? I have no idea. What?
More customers entered the shop, so Connie attended to them. She did not inquire any further, but would remember the name Annalise. As rain hurtled down relentlessly, it cut her vision to almost nil. The driveway of the Prinsengracht Hotel was upon her so fast that she did not see the Tesla sports car in time. To avoid it, she drove into a ditch. She rested her head on the steering wheel, because her heart was pounding. The knocking on the window broke her out of her shock.
Are you all right?
A towering figure asked as he stood there getting drenched. People from the hotel gathered around the car. She tried to hide a guilty expression as she lowered her window to reassure him.
I'm so sorry. I'm fine. Please go inside. You will all get soaked.
What a beauty! When the man asked where she was heading, she was tongue-tied. Had she honestly heard his thinking? All she saw was his mouth. She dismissed her thoughts and reassured him once again. His concern touched her.
Yolanda.
He called to his companion.
Go inside. I'll follow her to see if she is okay. You go on.
His dynamic voice caused an uproar, jolting her back to today's phone call. What was wrong with her? He got back into his electric sports car and followed her. When she parked near the market and waved at him, he paused, looking at her as if he recalled something. Then he hooted and drove off. At the food market in Beekbergen, the rain had stopped. The fish seller cried tunelessly, "Fresh herring!" His voice lunged at the mingling crowd, hoping to attract a buyer. Ingrid reflected on all that had happened the previous night. Her mind went back to the previous night. While soaking in the bath the previous night, she had a strange experience. She heard a voice. She knew she was utterly alone in the house. She grinned as she recalled looking everywhere after her bath to satisfy herself that she was alone. The words, "My beloved, can't you remember me?" It still rang in her ear as if someone in the background had just walked in. She had responded aloud,
"Who are you?"
But of course there was no answer. Hearing herself speaking to nobody made her grin to herself. Her father used to tease her about it when she was speaking to herself. However, the voice was so authentic. Then she heard clearly, "Kitty, wake up, be still and listen." Both phrases had typically been as precise as if someone else was speaking. That is, if one accepted conversing in verbal sounds as standard.
"Listen to who?"
She had replied while her heart skipped a beat, wondering, if someone was in the bathroom with her, why had she not seen anything? Ingrid could still not explain what had happened to herself. Still the feeling of rapture, of being in love, as if she had never been alone, was profound. Falling asleep after this most mysterious experience had been challenging. A sudden cloudburst switched her mind to the present just in time to reach her car with her groceries. The traffic was heavy on the way home, and her car radio was interrupted by a voice saying,
"Good morning. You're listening to Apeldoorn Radio, and I'm Rob. We have an important announcement to make. Due to a significant surge in the sun's electromagnetic X-ray flux, transmission disruptions may occur. We cannot rule out the possibility of power outages, but we have an expert in the studio who can shed some light on this. Mr. Hardens, could you please explain to our listeners what's happening?"
the broadcaster requested. She was driving near her home when Ingrid was struck by the name Hardens. A deep, resonant tone replied,
"There is no immediate cause for panic at all. This has been going on for a long time. The effects of climate change are starting to show. We know that our Earth's weather has been greatly affected for aeons by the increase in electromagnetic radiation."
That voice. Had she not just heard the same? The tall figure in the fancy sports car flashed in her mind. He was in a hurry. Why was it to give an interview? The new owner of Nell's firm was Hardens. But how would a man who had just taken over a construction firm be connected to investigations into weather patterns? The announcer asked.
"Was that the only reason for our hot weather, the global warming theory?"
Mr. Hardens stated with conviction.
We know that the Earth's magnetic field shifting is directly linked to this increased solar activity. The effect on bird, plant and marine life is profound in Australia and New Zealand, where the ozone hole is expanding.
"You are saying that the sun is also affecting our weather?"
Indeed. Earth's magnetic field changes over time because it is generated by a motion of molten iron alloys in its outer core. The Earth's field reverses, and the north and south magnetic poles relatively abruptly switch places. Earth's magnetic field has flipped its polarity many times over the millennia. Earth's last magnetic reversal took place 786,000 years ago. It can happen very quickly and cause climate change, but not necessarily due to global warming.
"You are implying that global warming is not true."
The great global warming scare during the last 20 years is the brainchild of a former vice president turned climate change activist. Funding and political factors influence his documentary film promoting an opinion on global warming.
"You are implying that global warming is not caused by pollution, which traps extra infrared radiation?"
Correct. I do not believe that human CO2 emissions cause global warming. All solar activity is driven by the solar magnetic field that is constantly shifting. The current state of extreme weather and warming is caused by the sun, not by trace gas elements from our industries.
"So we do not have to take the rising of tides seriously?"
The interviewer commented.
No, I did not say that. I suspect political elections are being won on promises to invest in flood protection, even as scientists warn about rising sea levels. In the worst-case scenario, the rate of sea level rise could reach a foot per decade by the 22nd century, about 10 times faster than today, but nothing like some websites predict.
So, you are saying we in Holland do not have to worry about the sea levels wiping us out?
Mr. Herdens was silent for a while, and her intuition told her he was getting impatient with the interviewer.
In response to your message, I want to clarify that the information circulating online about the rising tides caused by global warming is not entirely accurate. It's a ploy to create fear and confusion among people. A psychological battle is underway to influence how we perceive our planet and the universe around it, a shift that can significantly affect all life forms and hinder the physical and spiritual growth of the human race.
What you are implying is that great changes are coming that have to be taken seriously, but that the human population's perceptions are deceived. That goes beyond me.
Okay, so let's get back to our planet's changes in the ionosphere during geomagnetic storms. Strong electrical currents driven along the Earth's surface during auroral events can disrupt electric power grids all over our planet. Oh, you mean we might all be cut off from the internet due to no electricity? Yes, that could be. So we need to start planning for alternative living strategies before facing blackout conditions, meaning no electricity.
Ingrid wondered whether this could be the same man. He seemed knowledgeable, but what connection would a construction guy have with solar flares and the tipping of Earth's magnetic poles?
That does sound alarming. Having no power. What preparations do people need to make without electricity, our network and internet technologies?
The implications of what the interviewer called alarming made her sad. How many people listening would wonder what life would be like without the internet and computers?
We have prepared a website on the internet for anyone who wants to learn more, and further lectures on the effects of this solar activity will start soon.
The announcer asked.
Was that the only reason for our hot weather, the global warming theory?
Yes. And we know that the shifting of Earth's magnetic field is directly linked to this increased solar activity, Mr. Hardens replied with conviction.
You're saying that the sun also affects our warm weather?
There are various changes currently taking place, and we need to assess their full impact on a global scale and look at what specific preparations are essential. Anyone who still doubts the onset of global warming needs only look at what's happening in the Arctic and Antarctic, where glaciers are retreating. Icebergs are calving at a scary rate.
So the rising of tides has to be taken seriously?
Yes, but even more so, we need to plan for alternative living strategies that might be necessary when facing blackout conditions, meaning no electricity soon.
Ingrid wondered whether this could be the same man. He seemed knowledgeable, but what connection would a construction guy have with global warming?
That does sound alarming. Which comes first, a major flood or no power? What preparations do people need to make when there is no electricity, not to mention the water levels?
The implications of what the interviewer called alarming made her sad. How many people listening to this interview would wonder where to go if the sea levels rose, especially in a country where the sea levels were higher than the ground they all lived on?
We have prepared a website on the internet for anyone who wants to learn more, and further lectures on the effects of this solar activity will start soon. Mr. Hardens continued in the same knowledgeable tone as the man who had described the buttercup flower.
The radio announcer thanked Mr. Hardens and told the listeners that a program would be scheduled later. When Ingrid arrived at her driveway, she stretched her still youthful, curved body full length. She was trying to regain her stability and recalled the music playing in the background when she spoke to Mr. Hardens. There was something about was she suddenly seeing and hearing things? Gee, first the voices, then the message on the massive screen at work today. Could it all be in her imagination? She couldn't tell anyone because no one would take her seriously.
Guess what? I am communicating out loud with a voice in my head?
She mumbled as she ran through the rain, grabbing her groceries from the boot of her car. As she reached, she mimicked.
Oh, really?
She giggled, and it could read my mind. People would look at her as if she had suddenly lost her senses. Watching herself scratch for her keys made her feel silly. The next-door neighbour was waving while she dumped unwanted goods at the curb for the garbage collection the following morning. She must be spring cleaning. Ingrid waved back. Fluffball, her ginger cat, was sitting at the window, meowing. She sidestepped her mail inside the hallway as she opened her front door. An impressive blue envelope stating, "Dear Kitty, Excerpt 1, fell out as she picked it up. The printing seemed familiar, and so did the symbols, but not the watermark. Excerpt 1. Program Planet Earth. The Body Codes of Light Preparation Manual. After reading the manual, her hands were shaking. Sitting on the kitchen chair, Fluffball in her lap and her wet dark curly hair dripping, she could hardly stop reading the contents repeatedly. She read why planet Earth's ether body frequency layer is fast evolving, and how important it is for people to focus primarily on love, forgiveness, peace, harmony, balance, acceptance, and oneness. The name Power at the bottom of the printout must have been the same person she had encountered on her screen at the office. How could he have now sent her step 1 of a manual on paper? It further read that changes happening at a galactic level will soon influence Earth's reality grid, and humanity's accustomed lifestyles may never be the same again. In that new shop, the girl Connie had asked if she would write the first journal. Had she not mentioned Anneliese? Was she going to write about the 22 fragmented parts of what herself mentioned in Excerpt 1? Yes, she understood very well that the people in her life were often reflective mirrors of herself. It's difficult to grasp how, but had she asked for this? Why the hidden parts? She knew she had an inner desire to attract individuals who felt as she did about the real meaning of being alive, but was this the result? The pelting rain grew more insistent while Fluffball was purring on her lap. Was she supposed to include this Program Planet Earth manual in her journal? She noticed that the text Except 1 was a hyperlink. It was the first time she read of a frequency layer, whatever that was, but the promise that she would be welcomed into a parallel reality where a guide would reveal the riddle of the profit game. Now that sounded very intriguing. Ingrid's inner turmoil created a strong need for her to share her thoughts. She could hear Jan saying, "Ingrid, you are getting like your sister Quincy, more up in the clouds than down on earth." Had she imagined it all? Was it all just her fantasy? If only she could speak to her clairvoyant sister Quincy, who was on a tour with people from a health center in Delft. Quincy had her health shop there. When the phone rang in the hallway, her friend Lisbeth's face sprang to mind. Ingrid had always been good at guessing who was on the other end of the line.
"So, you knew it was me?"
Lisbeth laughed.
Yes? How did you guess? How are you? When did you get back?
Lisbeth was a freelance literary agent who wrote articles for several scientific magazines. It had been a while since she'd seen her.
"Ingrid, can I meet you tomorrow after work at the Panacoke near you? A friend gave me a pamphlet about a workshop that is starting soon. I'm sure you'll be interested. It is all about how to deal with experiencing a reality shift."
Her voice carried an excited tone.
You're kidding? Do you mean these body codes of light-related workshops? I've also seen it advertised in that new shop close to my office building. Gosh, what a coincidence.
She was tempted to share her experience with Lisbeth there and then, but she kept quiet because she still couldn't believe it herself. Ingrid knew she could fantasize about people rather than dealing with real life. She also didn't cope well with spontaneous happenings. After her shower, and while she was brushing her natural curly auburn hair, she suddenly heard an inner voice again, loud and clear, saying, "Kitty, Be still and listen to your heart to experience the magic of who you are.